I knew that I want to become an entrepreneur, but I thought that I'll have to go through that process of learning first and then become an entrepreneur. Within 7 months, I am at a space where I have a team backing me. You are looking at yourself in the mirror
Hmm.
and there is a demon right there. So,
Hmm.
now the thing is that the timing of life is not that way where, I want to start my singing career as of now. First impression of you was like, obviously you are selling something and, you want to make money out of it.
Three, two, one. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined.
And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work.
Courage is not doing things in the absence of fear. Courage is doing things despite the fear.
Growth comes from consistent action.
And you're realizing, hey, I'm not the only one with these problems.
Of the BYOB podcast. We're very excited to have Raahuul with us. Raahuul is the founder and CEO of Even Better, a digital marketing agency. Raahuul, thanks so much for making the time and jumping on today's podcast.
Hey Rashid, thanks for inviting me on this podcast. I'm glad, I got this opportunity to be here.
Awesome. Raahuul, the first thing I am very curious about is you have two A's and two U's in your name. Okay, and it's like Raahuul is, I have grown up on Bollywood movies. So Raahuul is a name I know and love very much, but you have a little spin to yours. So where did that come from and why is that there?
So a lot of people have been asking me off lately about this name change and everything. And I had officially made an announcement on my Instagram story as well that, hey guys, this is my new name. And I had officially given them the reason also that this is because of some numerology process that I have been through recently. And my parents were like, you need to try this out. so so I did it kind of in in terms of a, you can say, pressure. You can,
Okay.
under pressure I have done this, but I think I know it's for the good. So, and I never disobey my parents, so whatever they say I just do it.
Oh,
So,
that's really sweet.
and I think like I had seen other differences and life changes in other people's lives after going through this name change process. Many Bollywood actors, celebrities, and everything. So they also go. They have also gone through this name change, and it has benefited them a lot after that. So, based on testimonials and a lot of research, then I finally thought of going through this because the name change is not only on, like, it's not superficial, but you have to actually go through the name change in all your documents and as well. So
Mm,
it's a very big step.
yeah.
So because you have to change it everywhere, and it's not just on your Google Meet screen or anything
Yeah.
like that. So it's a major change. And so some of the people don't go through it because they have to go through all the trauma of changing all these official documents, but I have been through it and now it's all official.
Fantastic. Well, I hope it brings you lots of good luck and fortune. It's obviously a big thing to do and a big thing to change, of course. So here's
Yes,
hoping it
yes.
all works out. Rahul, I'd love to know a little bit more. First, before we get into your, I guess, journey as an entrepreneur, I would love to know your journey with digital marketing and the space you're in, right? So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into this space that is absolutely has been booming for a while, and then I think COVID happened and it boomed even more, right? It was a second wave, but how did you get into this space in the first place?
So, right out of college, I graduated in BMM from KC College, which was one of the top colleges in Bachelor of Mass Media. And I graduated in 2016, post which, I was figuring out like everyone does, like doing internships here and there, doing various internships into graphic design, into client servicing. And, I like putting my hands in different. I like getting my hands dirty on different things so that I get to learn each and every aspect of the business. So so my entrepreneurship journey started right after college. It was like I knew that I want to become an entrepreneur, but I thought that I'll have to go through that process of learning first and then become an entrepreneur,
Right.
like how everyone does. So then 2016, I started my journey immediately after college. I didn't want to do a master's because I wanted to get into the real practical world and learn everything. So I started my journey as a like an intern. I interned at one of the top digital agencies, Foxy Moron, and that's where my journey started. So I learned the entire journey of the process of social media, the services that a digital marketing agency has to offer, and all those things at an intern level. I was learning, making content calendars for brands, and ideating on the strategy, sitting with various teams during my internship. So those 3 months of my first internship gave me a lot of exposure to the digital world,
Sure.
and from there on there was no looking back, because I kept on doing internships. Then I finally got into a job, and then that's how my journey started into the digital world. And social media was something which is like exciting every day. There is
Mm.
something new every day, so that kept me going. And I worked with various companies, Foxy Moron, Sochiers. uh, I worked with White Rivers Media. I've worked with Howl Digital. So these are some of the leading agencies as of now
And
in the
Rahul,
digital space.
did you know all the way through? You mentioned something that really caught my attention, which is, did you know all the way through that you wanted to eventually start your own digital marketing agency right from the beginning, or is that something that just happened over time?
As I told you, like I come from a Sindhi family, and in Sindhis, there is this thing that it's in your blood that you have to do business. So and everyone says Sindhis are born for business. Some of them are into education. I agree. Like my family comes from an educational background. My dad is a teacher. Even my mom is a teacher. So my dad teaches English language and literature, and my mom is a French teacher. So I come from a family which is into education, but in general, Sindhis are into business. So, and that's there in our blood. So even we can't do a job after a certain period of time. We have to have our own thing. So, so that's what was there inside me right from the start.
Sure.
And I knew that one day I will start my own thing, and that's where I am right now.
Fantastic. I
Yeah,
love that, you said it and I didn't have to. That, Sindhis are born for business, because I see it all around me, right? Constantly. So many great friends. It's just, yeah, earlier I used to wonder and really question people saying things about certain set of people, saying this is in their blood, and I was like, no, everybody makes their own decisions. But then the evidence just like crashes over you like a wave, right?
yeah,
Because you just see it over and over and over again, so it
yeah,
becomes hard to deny it. So very, very cool that you knew it the whole way through, because I think that type of conviction is definitely something most entrepreneurs have to earn after a period of time, right? It's tough to get that type of conviction that I am born to this, but you have
yes,
it, which is a nice little bonus for you. So
yeah.
tell me about the early days of starting up with Even Better. So once you decided, you had it in your mind, you're going to start at all points in time. When did it go from a thought in your head to actually turning it into a business and saying, okay, chalo, this is now where I'm going to start? When did that happen?
So it all started when one fine day, I had quit my job, okay, in November 2022, okay, and so I quit my job, and then I knew that I wanted to start something of my own, and that first step was quitting a job.
So hold
then
on, did
then
you quit to start your own, or you quit and then said, okay, I'm going to start my own? Which way did it
no,
go?
I quit, and then I realized that this is the time to start my
Okay,
own.
got it, got it.
Yeah. So, and after quitting, I took a break of 1 2 months where I was totally into my, like, looking inward. And I was kind of uh, I was in that frame of mind that I need to declutter first and then start afresh.
Sure.
So it was 2 months of like going through that inward journey. And then after 2 months in January, one fine day, like one of my previous colleagues, who was working in a job, he came to me and Rahul, I want to start my own thing.
Hmm.
Let's start a digital agency. Okay. So so I was like, yeah, even I wanted to start something of my own, and this is a calling that now I should start. So and that's where it all began. So the initial founding members of the company, right now I am with another partner, but the initial founding members of the company, they told me that let's begin something of our own. And they had that thing that we also want to start our own startup and all that. That craze was there. So I was like, okay, I also have this thing in mind. Let's begin. Let's start. Let's take the first step. Let's take a name. Let's decide on a name. So that name
So
forming and
how many,
logo.
sorry, just before we get to the name, sorry, I have too many questions about this. I'm always very interested in the origin story. So
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
said that there were a colleague of yours came to you, there were multiple partners. So at the start, how many founding members were there right at the start when you were, having this
There were
discussion?
three,
Three
three.
of you, including
There
you.
were three.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
including
And both of them were colleagues from a previous digital marketing agency.
previous digital marketing agency.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry, please go ahead.
So we decided, and we want to take this ahead. How, we didn't know how we would take this ahead, but I told them the first step is creating a name, because a name and a logo is the first identity that people come to. And obviously, as a creative agency, we had to come up with a creative name, obviously.
Yeah,
So that's what we do, right? A digital agency or any advertising agency is known for their creative work, which is like something new. So then we went through different agency names, and we researched a lot. And then one fine day, my other found like the other founding member, he came up to me like, Rahul, I was sitting at 2 a.m. in the night. I was thinking about the name and everything, and I thought this name is the perfect one. It's called Even Better. So I was like, in the start, I was like, no, it's just like it's a phrase or something. Like, will it work as a company name? So he was like, no, yeah, it is a creative name, and it's even better. Like every time you say it, it gets even better. So it's like, I was like, yeah, man, this is a good name. Like, we came up with a couple of other names, but we were not satisfied with any of the names. So then we finally came up with this name called Even Better. So that's where it started. And then we started creating the logo and the font face, and decided the font family,
sure.
what kind of font we'll be using in all our brand identity documents and all the presentations, and the colors that we decided. So it was an entire process of 1.5 month of
Got it.
deciding and coming up with a name.
So
So
you mentioned also that you started with three, now it's you. So what happened along the way? Something has changed, right? So what actually happened behind the scenes that made it go from three to one?
now 3 to 2.
Okay.
I was 3 to 1 in between, but now I found another partner. So now it's
Okay.
two.
So we went from three to one and now we've gone from one to two.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 to 2.
So tell us about that journey.
So after a point, like these guys are pretty much like two. I can say one person was above 30 years of age, and one person was around below. Like I was like 2 years younger to me,
Sure.
and he had certain other. They both had certain other personal commitments which were coming in their way,
Mhm.
and certain financial decisions that they had to make. Like and they had to take a job instantly, and they couldn't like
Hmm.
survive this period of the slow growth phase that we say in the start. So then I told them that it's completely your call, but I want to take this ahead, because
Right.
I am now, the company is formed, now everything is formed. I will go, and I will see if I find another partner along the journey, it's well. Otherwise, I'll take it solo.
Hmm.
But eventually, over a period of 4, 5, 6 months, I found a partner when I started working, and now we are together in this journey.
So can you tell me, that search for a new partner, was that is that an active thing you did, or did it just happen to, some you came across someone, it was a good fit, etc., or were you actively looking out for a partner to go from a one person to a two person sort of founding group?
So that person came along in the journey, one fine day. So I was working on a project on a contract basis, and he was like, let me help you with this project. I took up the project, and it was a website development project. So he told me, I have a team and everything, so we can do this for you and everything. So I was like, okay. And everything went smooth. He delivered the project on time and everything. And later on, I got to know that he's already a founder of another agency.
Hmm.
So, and he has a team of, 25 people and everything supporting him. And in spite of being a founder himself, he wanted to be a part of another journey,
Right.
this another entrepreneurial journey which I'm going through. So he told me, I will help you along, and let's see how it goes, so right now we are in the process of so after knowing all this. So I looked at his background, and he came of a background of even more years than me, 14 years of experience than me. So I was like, oh wow. So having a partner which has more experience than you is obviously a better edge over other partners, because you
Sure.
can learn from him as well as you can learn from your clients and your brands and everything.
Yeah.
So then we decided to get together in this journey, and now we together, if we say, we are together a team of 28 people, if you
Sure.
can say. So even better has grown from three people to being one person, and then now it's suddenly 28 people. So it's like I have a team within 7 months. I am at a space where I have a team backing me. So that's a big step, that's a big
Yeah.
growth in the journey.
That's absolutely humongous. And I think one of the learnings I'm getting from this is for people at the start, we're normally at the start, we're very obsessed with all the tiny things. We want to figure out, all of the tiny things that are happening, stay in control of everything that's happening. But it sounds like to me the one difference that you had is instead of having your blinders on and saying, okay, this is what I have to do, you allowed yourself every now and then to look up little to the side to see if there's like a big opportunity, right? And the big opportunity happened to come and you managed to take advantage of it. So in my world, I call it an entrepreneur's peripheral vision, that they are looking straight at the goal, but every now and then are they noticing the stuff, on the side, the big opportunities. And that's a big opportunity that you've taken advantage of, which is fantastic. So congratulations. Hopefully this accelerates the whole journey, which is really exciting. um, can you tell me a little bit about, the challenges that come with making a move like this? Because obviously there's huge opportunity. As you said, right? You go from 3 to 28, suddenly you have somebody more experienced challenging you, which can only help you grow, nothing else. But I'm sure
Yes.
there's a flip side to that, which means that things, it might, maybe things are too fast or chaotic or what. So what's the other side of this equation where things aren't all amazing? What's happening behind the scenes in your mind, challenges that you're going through?
So when you say as an entrepreneur, it's like, when if I define entrepreneurship, it's like you are looking at yourself in the mirror,
Hmm.
and there is a demon right there. So it is like a battle with yourself. So that demon is constantly telling you no, it's putting you down. Oh,
Hmm.
what are you doing? Are you going in the right direction? And I get at least 15 minutes in the day, I get this feeling that, am I going right?
Sure.
Because, or am I going towards a certain black hole or something? you know is it, will the black hole like suck me in, or will I dodge the black hole and go somewhere else, or I'll go to a place full of light,
Hmm.
uh, you know so that anxiousness is there, obviously, but that thing keeps you on toes every day. That that uncertainty keeps you on toes. Okay, if there is uncertainty, that okay, now there is uncertainty, but I need to do something about this.
Sure.
When you are in a job, you are always in that comfort zone, like, okay, the salary is coming every month, and you're paying your bills, you're helping the family, you're doing everything, and you're always like, you're working like a robo, going in day out, day out. But when you're as an entrepreneur, you know that you have new challenges every day, and you need to face those challenges, and you need to overcome that challenge. So that is what is exciting about this journey. And as an entrepreneur, you can do multiple things, and you're not stuck to one job role.
Hmm.
That's what is the best part I like, because I'm a person who likes to do many things at once. It's not that I want to just focus on one.
Hmm.
I'm a jack of all trades,
Hmm.
so you can say. So uh, that is what is keeping me going, and that is what excites me every day, in this journey.
Okay, I always feel entrepreneurs are similar, right? There's one thing that's similar across all entrepreneurs, at least most of them, is what you said, which is we love doing multiple things. Right? That's
Yeah.
why we're entrepreneurs. We created something out of nothing. We like to create things, whether it's a new sales process or a new product or a new marketing scheme or whatever it is. Right? We like creating new stuff. And then the flip side of entrepreneurship is the more you focus, the faster you move forward. So how do you grapple with these two things at the same time, where you want to, like, for your personal fulfillment, to keep your energy up, etc., you have to do multiple things. But sometimes the business requires you to suddenly settle in and say, okay, this is the only one or two things that you have to do. So right now, how are you dealing with that? Are you sort of going with the flow, or are there any conscious decisions you're making to focus, not focus, do lots of things, do little things?
So, like I told you, I like doing multiple things, and I'm actually getting to do that every day. For example, if in my daily schedule I need to do some BD calls, because I am majorly looking into sales.
Hmm.
I'm looking at sales and getting revenue for the business. So that is what I'm majorly looking at. The other partner is looking into execution, like executing the campaigns, studying about the consumer, like doing a deep psychological analysis of the brand, of the consumer, and then accordingly suggesting campaigns to brands. That's what our core expertise is, that like we first get into the shoes of the consumer, and then we get in the shoes of the brand,
Hmm.
and then we decide and create a strategy according to that.
Hmm.
So he is looking totally into the execution part. I'm looking into the BD part, which I like doing. I like
Okay.
being the face of the company, and and so one goal in my mind is clear, that I want to do this and I want to continue doing this.
Hmm.
So as a job role, my role is fixed. Even though I'm doing multiple things, I'm going to events, I'm going to networking events, I'm meeting people, getting business. That's a part of the journey, but I want to be, the face. So that is what excites me.
Okay, it sounds like to me you found a really nice balance, because your that focus that we say all entrepreneurs need is there in terms of what your goals are, what your role is towards those goals, bringing in revenue. But the creativity and the fun side of doing multiple things is, what are all the different things I can do to get that goal, right? And so you find your joy in doing all of these different things, which I think
Yeah.
actually is the type of healthy balance we encourage all the entrepreneurs in our community as well, that you be relentlessly focused about one goal, but then have fun towards that goal, do a whole bunch of different things, and it sounds like that's what you're doing and enjoying as well. So do
Yes.
you see this as a, like, in your mind right now, is even better the one thing you think you're going to consistently do? I know we can't predict the future 100%, but in your mind, are the next 5 years even better, or the next 10, 20, 30? Or have you thought about what you want to do after, or is this all you are focused on right now?
As of now, this is what I am focused on for the next 5 years at least. Because I don't like jumping into multiple things. I want to focus on one business, make the like at least get the business to a stable level,
Hmm.
and then probably if my other interests in life, I can probably focus on them later, once I have this stable, and I have all the revenue coming in. Like I know that all the financial stability is right now in place,
Yeah.
and then I move on to much bigger, better things in life.
Got it.
So at least for the next 5 years, this is my goal. Like, to get this company to a level where after a certain point, the the company is at such a level that automatically business keeps coming in, flowing in. You don't need to go and search for business, so it's
Got it.
already, we've created a name in the industry, and now it is already at a level. Okay, now the business is set. Now I can focus on other things in life. So this
Okay.
is my goal for now.
Okay. So I want you to jump into a time machine with me that fast forwards us to 5 years where you've set this up. Okay. So Even Better has a stable business, it has a brand name recognition. People are starting to ask you to do work as opposed to you having to go and pitch to them for work. All of this is there. What does Rahul do next? So let's say you've got to all this and you talked about the other interests, bigger, better things, etc. So what are these other interests and bigger, better things that you think someday you want to get into?
So I've always been passionate about music and singing as a career. But due to certain things that I think so I come from a middle class background, and so my parents have been into their professions, as I said, teaching, and and even though Sindhis are known for business, I come from a family where we were into service. My dad and mom were both into. My dad had a business originally into printing and stuff. Like he
Okay.
had a printing press, and but later on it went into losses, and so he had to wind it up.
Sure.
But all these 15-20 years, they have relentlessly worked into their profession, and what I am today and what education that they have given me is because of their hard work.
Hmm.
And this is where I am today. And at that point of time, I didn't have, we didn't have, like, I had not discovered singing and music. I had not discovered that I can sing and, I can do very well in music, but I discovered late. So
Hmm.
now the thing is that the timing of life is not that where I can start. I want to start my singing career as of now, but
Sure.
late, I'm always doing that on the side, and I know one day I want to like go on the stage and perform.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's
That's
what,
cool.
so that is one dream that is there in my head, and one fine day I know it will happen. But it will, but I want to create a business also, which is a stable business. And so whenever you see a financial crunch in your life, and you realize that you want to create something which will never affect you any time in your life, which will, like, there will never be a financial problem ever if you have created that.
Hmm.
So in my head, it's always like, I have seen those hard times in my
Hmm.
childhood. So I know that, I know the value of money, and I know that if even you sometimes, even if you like what you're doing, but for money you have to do something else which is very immediate.
Sure.
So that is what, and I don't want to face any problem in the future regarding finances, and that's why I want to create something of my own self wherein money is never a problem, so for me or my future family, whenever.
Sure. I think that's a dose of reality that all entrepreneurs need to know about as well. That it's, on, I don't know if you feel this, but whenever you go on social media and you listen to entrepreneur stories, most of them are talking about how you can go from X amount to Y amount by not working at all, and everything's going to be amazing, and it's,
Yeah.
forever, it's going to be the best life in your, ever. I think it's so important to put a dose of reality of, hey, this is not easy. That's why not everybody does it, because it's not
Yeah.
easy. There are hardships, and you have to sometimes make calls where, financial freedom might be the first thing that you have to think about. And then you can build on that, foundation. But this idea of I'll get it all immediately, there'll be financial freedom, creative freedom, I'll have freedom of time, location immediately,
Hmm.
without doing anything, just seems like a lie that everybody is like buying right now. um,
Yeah.
so I think that's totally fair that you're thinking about it. And one of the things that made me also think about and remember is when I was a kid, my dad had quit his job and had decided to start by himself. And so in the first year, the family only went for one outing. We'd go every week, once a week, down the road to the Shiv Sagar to have dosa. That was, the dinner out and the meal out and the exciting outing. And that's the
Yeah.
first year and year and a half, right? Because things are hard in the beginning. So
Yes.
I think it's completely like it might not be the sexiest sounding thing, but it's reality, right? That's the first
Yes.
step. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that's totally fair. Well, hopefully with this partnership and stuff like that, we get to that stage faster. And
Obviously.
we'll organize a Jigsaw talent show sometime. Hopefully you can jump up on stage and perform at least for the community. um,
Yeah.
I think the next natural question for me is, we met, I think, what, 2-3 months ago now, if I'm not mistaken, at a workshop.
Yes. Three
Okay.
months ago.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you on the spot and ask you, when we first met, what was your first impression of me and the workshop that you were in? Like, what did you think?
So, first impression of you was like, obviously you are selling something and you want to make money out of it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, first impression was like, अरे ये वापस बेचने आ गया अपना.
You're making me
So,
sound like a door-to-door salesperson, knocking.
yeah, so then you were like, guys, I just want 5 minutes of your time, and I'll quickly explain all this, and then you were like, this is the package, you need to enroll and all that. So I was like, TK, it's just another,
Yeah.
but I went back and I read about Jigsaw, and and I really like the initiative of bringing people together, because and entrepreneurs, because this is, when you are in that journey, right? When you're working in a job, so you have always people around, you're
Hmm.
working in a team, and you're used to working with people so much that when you become an entrepreneur, you are like suddenly alone.
Hmm.
And that's what, like, that was haunting me when I started,
Yeah.
that oh shit, for a year I'll be alone, and even my partner will be there, but I'll have to do everything solo. And after a time my life will become miserable, and after a year I'll be like, no, no, let's leave it and get back into a job.
Yeah.
That is so, it I sometimes you feel that, will I be able to do this? But then when I saw Jigsaw and all this community stuff and happening, I thought, oh wow, this is something fun, and I need to join this. So I'll have fellow entrepreneurs. At least I'll have someone to socialize with.
Yeah.
so,
That's totally
so
fair.
yeah, and I'll have something. I'll have these social events where I'll go share experiences and all that. Because everyone wants to share what is going on in their head, right?
Yeah.
And when you meet friends, it's not always that your friends are available all the time. So you need to meet like-minded people who are in that similar journey, and they can relate to it. So that's where I got excited and joined Jigsaw. That's what made me join this community.
Well, I'm
And
glad that you saw the website and didn't, just stick with, oh no, the salesperson has come to talk. I'm glad you moved beyond that, and I'm very happy you was this honest about it. The reason why I asked is because I remember that workshop so clearly, and I remember you were sitting also on the back
yeah,
chair, right?
I
Like,
was sitting right in front of
yeah,
you
right in
guys.
front. So I remember that. And the reason why I asked is because that workshop, we decided for the first time to try this direct selling thing that we hadn't done before. So that's why I wanted to ask you whether it came across that way. So now I know. So thank you. Thanks for letting me know. It's good feedback to get. Um,
Yeah.
and so, Rahul, can you tell us about, I know we've learned a lot about even better your journey personally. You've been part of Jigsaw now for about 2-3 months. Can you tell me what's the headline? So you don't have to tell me about, every step and all of this, but what's the headline? What's the big thing you're taking away from Jigsaw, or have taken away from Jigsaw so far that you're applying to your business as an entrepreneur?
The best part I like about Jigsaw is that you have these weekly
Hmm.
thinker space sessions, wherein, there are some things that I have not learned like some theories of business that I've not learned, and I've not. So I think those theories are learned when you do an MBA. So I never I've not done an MBA. So
Hmm.
I think that those terms and those basics have to be cleared, and that's what is getting cleared in every session that you take. So it's like you are obviously a business coach, so it is just close to do an MBA. You're doing an MBA.
Sure.
So I feel that I am doing a master's, and on the side I'm doing a practical version of that MBA also.
Yeah.
So so it's like running a business and then learning on the side. So this is what excites me every day, and I almost have attended since the time I've joined. I've almost come on every thinker. I think I've missed one,
Yeah.
but I've come on almost every thinker space. That you conduct every week. So that is what I like about I want so it clears my basics of business basically.
Hmm.
You know because this journey is also new for me, and as a business coach, if you are sharing your knowledge on such a platform, so I think it's great. So
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. That's really interesting because you are the second person in a row when I've asked this question. They have ended up saying, you know what, I actually think about it as a practical MBA. That's like in their head, so
yeah,
it's really interesting because that's not the intention with which we started, but we realize that as it's happening, that's the sort of gap we're filling. And I always find that so interesting, and I'm sure you'll experience it in your business as well. You start something with a particular intention and a way of thinking about it, but then it's really your customers and your clients who tell you this is actually the valuable part of what you're doing and this is how it's helping us, etc.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
always find that journey really fascinating. In fact, earlier in my journey, I used to be so obsessed with this. Anytime somebody said anything, I'd immediately take on that feedback and change our product completely. So, in the first
yeah.
5 months, I think we went through like 40 versions of what Jigsaw thinking was. Right, because I got obsessed with every client, and then I started saying, "Wait a minute, you can't be changing everything like every 3 seconds," which is a big
Yeah,
learning.
yeah,
But
yeah,
thanks so much for sharing your experience. Always interesting to know for people who've recently started.
yeah.
So Rahul, I've had a bunch of questions with you, but one of the things we always do on the podcast is we have a little segment we call Jaldi with Jigsaw, where we
Okay.
ask you some rapid fire questions where you're not allowed to think. You just have to give us the first answer that comes in your mind. So are you okay if I asked you a few questions? And are you ready for Jaldi
Yes,
with Jigsaw?
yes, ready.
If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
I would be singing in a reality show.
Yes, I was imagining you at Indian Idol. That's the image I have in front of me. Okay, how do you switch off from work?
I play the guitar or I go for a run.
Okay, nice. Are you part of those like running clubs or anything like that where a bunch of people run together?
Yeah, so I take part in Tata Marathon also. Like I have been running since 2 consecutive years. I've been running, and I also take part in these HRX marathons. Small dream runs and all that. So I do that as well.
Oh wow. Okay, that's cool. Running's just not something I've ever gotten into, but my wife as well is really getting into it. So I feel at some point I'm gonna be forced to get into it as well. So maybe we'll go on a run together in Bombay.
Yes,
Okay, who is your biggest cheerleader?
my mom, you can say.
Yeah, I think it's tough to beat uh, your mom for a lot of things, right? For that answer.
Yeah.
Okay, next question is um, if you were starting your journey now, like today is day one, what would you be telling Rahul? What's the one piece of advice you would give Rahul on day one?
Don't worry, you will figure it out eventually.
Yeah, I think eventually is the important word.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the latest show you binge watched?
Latest show I've seen, Manifest.
Okay. And what's your favorite movie of all time?
My favorite movie of all time is Memento of Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, that's a strong one. Uh, what is your superpower as an entrepreneur?
Always confidence. That's what takes me ahead of in the game every day. My superpower is always being the face of the business. That's what my superpower is.
Got it. What do you enjoy most about being your own boss?
So I like delegating tasks to people. That is the best part I
Look at
like
the
about.
smile on your face. You can't stop smiling. When I give work away, I love it.
Yeah, so that's the I so I've always been like, I've been in my even previous jobs also. My managers have told me that you are a good leader and all that. So I like delegating tasks to people. That's what I really enjoy.
Nice.
So yes.
And what do you hate most about being your own boss?
Sometimes procrastination,
Yeah,
because sometimes I feel that I need that push from the external world which will get me back again to my toes, so I need certain kind of push, and that push is given by my friends. So that is how I get back into the game. So procrastination sometimes.
got it. We are also going to start pushing you from next month, by the way, but I'll tell you more about that later.
Yeah.
And final question is, can you use three words to define a jigsaw thinker?
uh, Level-headedness, self-reliant,
Hmm, that's a great one.
and ambitious.
Got it. Two hyphenated words in there. So well done. You maximized the three-word limit. Cool. Well done. Congratulations. You completed Jaldi with Jigsaw. You do not get any coffee hamper, but you will get a thumbs up from me. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I think I just have one final question, Rahul, before we sort of move on, which is what's next for you and even better, right? So, what are the next 12 months? What's the key goals or key things that key projects you're working on?
So, at Even Better, I want to, I want to put that word out there that, Even Better is a place where brands come to, you know, to be at a place where they don't get confused and they are at harmony, so basically, if a brand comes to me with all that, so there are many brand owners coming to me saying that, Rahul, I'm done with digital marketing agencies. You guys promise so much and then you don't deliver. So I was like, yes, I know the pain, and I know what you are going through, but let me give you a solution for this. And we first we understand what they have in their head and how they want to take the business ahead. So that is what I don't want to be a person, okay, आप आ जाओ हम, this is the contract, sign the contract, this is the monthly retainer amount. And we I don't just want to be a salesperson, I sold my service and take this, and you are bound to pay me every month, and all that. I don't want to go through that. I want to give them a place where they come and they feel like home. They I don't want that they have hired someone and it's a very professional relation. I want to give a personal touch to the brands and the brand owners. That when they come to Even Better, it's like, uh, I don't want them to be in a toxic environment. I want good relations with the clients, and I want to grow their business. So basically, I consider their business as my business,
Hmm,
because if their business grows, in turn my business will grow.
sure.
We are our business totally depends on their business growth. I know if the sales doesn't happen, they can switch to another agency.
Right.
They are always open to switching to another agency, but I don't want brands to get into that hassle of switching and going through that entire process of going
Hmm.
from one agency to another. Once they come to Even Better, they know that now things are getting better and it's really even better. So I want to, the name that is there of my firm, I want to actually uh, create an impact of that name
Hmm,
Even Better, because once they come here, they are at home. Like, I want them to feel home,
got it.
basically.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
my
beautiful
vision.
vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And we obviously will be rooting you on and cheering for you, and of course, helping you at every step of the way as well. So, really excited to be a part of this journey with you, Rahul. And thank you so much for coming on the BYOB podcast and making it even better. So, thanks so much.
So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. We're Jigsaw Thinking, home of the self starters.
If you're interested in being your own boss, head to jigsawthinking.com or drop us a DM at jigsawthinking on Instagram.